Part 14. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 134. A week later, the Chunin exams officially came to an end. x.bookbao.org. Because Union Village was not involved, the inner calculations of various countries have changed. Unlike previous years, this year's Chunin exam seemed to have ended in a hurry. And with the departure of candidates from various countries, Konoha seemed to have returned to its former tranquility. Behind the mountain of Konoha, in front of the small waterfall. Wind escape breakthrough. Namikaze Minato formed seals with his hands and suddenly breathed out a roaring storm. Target, Hyuga Hikari. Boom. The storm blew and there was an explosion. Judging from the speed of the wind and the vague distortion of the air, this is a sea-level ninjutsu. The autumn wind almost swept away the fallen leaves, and even the big rocks on the ground were blown up by the hurricane, as if they were made of plastic and were weightless. The wind, combined with the various objects being blown, violently hit Hinata. The sudden attack did not panic Hinata Hikaru. On the contrary, Hinata laughed strangely and pushed out his palm suddenly. The wave of killing intent collapses the palm. The red aura suddenly emerged and beat. Double the banging palm, double the happiness. Two red vortex airflows were generated in front of him 1 meter away, fiercely facing the wind and making a breakthrough. A simple collapse palm can break a tree trunk. It's not difficult to break trees with both palms out. Then, coupled with the heavy chakra of the murderous intention fluctuation, what changes will occur? The answer is to completely destroy the wind release released by Minato Namikaze. Boom. There was a roar like an approaching typhoon. In an instant, the sound of the world was snatched away. In the entire small valley, only the hurricane swept across. Namikaze Minato's face was solemn, and he held his right arm in front of him. The blast of the blast made it difficult for him to breathe, and his face was even more painful. After the storm subsided, Namikaze Minato smiled, showing an expression that was indeed true. Seeing that the Fengdun breakthrough that I had made with all my strength was shattered by a palm, my heart was not complicated. Because he knew that Hikari's murderous intention fluctuated very strongly and had extremely high growth potential and upper limit. It is only a matter of time before he grows up to the point where he can match the power of sea-level ninjutsu. The chakra of the second tail made the situation advance by several months. Just as she said, after taking the tailed beast brand big tonic pill, this leader has gained a lot of internal strength. In terms of physical fitness and chakra volume, Hyuga Hikari has been able to absolutely crush opponents of his own age. Although, to smash a sea-level ninjutsu now requires both palms to be used, what about in the future? One day, you can do it with one hand. Namikaze Minato completely believed this. Whether it was the talent Hinata showed, her unique blood inheritance limit, or her level of hard work, it all supported her to reach that level. In addition, blocking and actively breaking are two different concepts. Once a ninja fight falls into a passive position, they can only be at the mercy of their opponents. Being able to take the initiative to meet others means that you have the right to speak and the initiative. After blasting the ninja to pieces, before the enemy had time to continue using it again, Hikaru Hinata was in front of the opponent. At that time, it will be up to Hinata Hikari to decide how to beat the opponent violently. Ga, Namikaze Minato, I see you reading all day without exercising, are you too lazy? Hinata put away her two small white hands and walked slowly towards the side. This one. Namikaze Minato scratched his brilliant blonde hair. Hinata Hikaru is making progress, so he is also making progress. Every morning, Minato Namikaze would throw a few shadow clones at home. One shadow clone is responsible for reading and studying, and the other two shadow clones are responsible for practicing ninjutsu. As for physical skills, shadow clones will only increase the proficiency of physical arts, but will not increase muscles or improve physical fitness. In the end, physical skills have to be mastered personally. But I have Ripple Kigong. Namikaze Minato smiled. Breathing is related to the blood, because the blood carries oxygen from the lungs, and the oxygen in the blood is related to the cells, which are equivalent to the physical body. Just like throwing a stone into the water will cause ripples, use a special breathing method to create ripples in the body, thereby generating powerful power. At the beginning, Namikaze Minato used Ripple Kigong to attach ripples to leaves and cut steel by throwing them, shocking Uchiha Futaba in one fell swoop. Even if he sits still, as long as he keeps breathing, his body will become stronger all the time. Ripple Kigong represents a past event. Hyuga Hikari's murderous intention fluctuations belong to yin, and are essentially chakra fluctuations. Namikaze Minato learned from Hinata Hikari's description and practice of the fluctuations of murderous intent, and used the yang attribute chakra to generate fluctuations, thus giving birth to the existence called Ripple Kigong. Although they are both special chakra training methods, their effects are completely different. In addition to strengthening physical fitness and killing enemies, Ripple Kigong also has many unique effects, such as therapy. To sum up, in addition, Namikaze Minato's cultivation speed is faster than ordinary people. I'm afraid that except for Hinata, no one else can even touch the tail lights of his car. This is the true strength of the veteran driver of Hokage Mountain. Even when he was lying still, Namikaze Minato was rapidly escalating. All I have to do is have the words level you popping out from above my head. Jiraiya Mama-sensei no longer has to worry about my training. Yeah. Hinata blinked and nodded. Since Namikaze Minato said this, it meant that there was really no problem. Let me, the leader, think about it. What else is going to happen next? Hinata started thinking. Nothing seems to happen anymore. In fact, in the past few days, in addition to the Chunin examination, another event happened. The Hyuga clan's family competition was held almost at the same time as the Chunin exams. That's why Hyuga Hisashi gave up the competition and took the Chunin exam instead. As for the specific results, whether one can become a Chunin will be screened by Konoha's top management. Hinata Hikari wasn't even interested in the Chunin exams, and he found family competitions even more boring. It's nothing more than a fierce battle between the clan and a group of people from the branch family. In the end, the powerful Zone family will definitely win, and they will criticize the split family. Then let us wait patiently for the arrival of our old friend. Namikaze Minato's eyes twinkled, and a gentle smile bloomed on his handsome cheeks. A few days later, Ninja School. Grade 1, Class 2, Hikaru Hinata's class. The sun was still shining brightly on this day. Although the arrival of autumn brought a bit of coolness, this temperature was more comfortable for ninjas with extremely strong physical fitness. Ahem, classmates, this person is a transfer student from Uzashio Hidden Village in the faraway country of Uzumaki, our allied country. The head teacher, Dozawa, was introducing the transfer students to everyone. The long fiery red hair that hangs down the back of her head is the most beautiful color. Whoever comes is exactly. Mobile phone users, please visit CSW. Reading for a better reading experience. The bookshelf is synchronized with the computer version. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 135. Uzumaki Kushina. In fact, there are not many transfer students like Kushina at the moment. Zioni Saluk. But as the war approaches, there will be a large number of. Let's not mention the transfer students. Hikaru Hinata is now entering the second semester of first grade. New semester, new atmosphere. In the classroom, students sit together. Just like last year, there are 30 people in a class. But the personnel have changed. Many students were transferred out of the class and then formed new classes with students who joined the class halfway. Hundreds of children were admitted to the ninja school as an exception. even including some children who had previously been denied admission. This is because the top management of Konoha felt that a storm was coming, and even the possibility of the second ninja war breaking out. Now, what is needed is manpower. In peacetime, the annual enrollment quota is 90 students, with a maximum of 12 students, and no more. But in just a few days. But there were 300 more people. Only when a war is imminent would we recruit so many students. The purpose is to have enough reserves by then, and after the war is over, there will be enough fresh blood to replenish the village. Because war kills people. If the village's vitality is not restored quickly during peacetime, when the next war comes, it will be passive and even risk being destroyed. Therefore, the closer to the war period, the more necessary it is to recruit students in large numbers. Gaga, Tangzi, why is it you again? There should be no one except Hinata Hikari who dares to speak like this. Tang's speech was interrupted. He was just about to introduce Uzumaki Kushina's name when he froze on the spot. What do you mean it's me again? I also want to say it's you again, Hinata Hikari. Dozawa, who was originally graceful, couldn't help but get mad and roar after seeing Hinata Hikari's disgusted little face. This kid is hummed. Why did I meet her again? Is this life? Tangs raised his head sadly and looked out the window. When he finished feeling sentimental, he looked around the classroom and saw that there were almost a third of the familiar faces. The other 2/3 have unfamiliar faces. Ah, very good. Tangs nodded slightly and cleared his throat. Okay, next, I will introduce the name of this transfer student to you and let us applaud and welcome her. Her name is Round Baby Cheeks and Beautiful Red Hair. Uzumaki Kushina looked timidly at the students in the class. Then before Dozawa said her name, Uzumaki Kushina mustered up her courage and said loudly. I am Uzumaki Kushina Dabana. Uzumaki Kushina spoke with a peculiar accent. But she immediately realized her rudeness and covered her mouth with her hands. Because Dabana is a very boyish oral habit. A girl can't talk like that. Uzumaki Kushina-san transferred from Uzumaki country Ozashiagakura village. Dozawa took over Uzumaki Kushina's words at the right time and helped her out. What a good man. Uzumaki Hidden Village belongs to the country of Uzumaki. The Senju clan is distantly related to the Uzumaki clan. Therefore, after Senju Hashirama established Konoha, the Fire Country and the Whirlpool Country became allies. This alliance has been maintained to this day. Ha 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 ha. However, before Doze could finish speaking, the students burst into laughter. However, it wasn't because of Kushina's boyish oral habits. But, ha ha ha, look at her hair. Why did it get so red? Is it because I dyed my hair? It's weird. Under the podium, students were snickering and talking. Most people were laughing at Uzumaki Kushina's red hair. Uzumaki Kushina was confused and embarrassed for a moment. In Uzashiagakura, most people have red hair. But when she came to Konoha, she discovered. Here, having red hair would look very strange. Okay, everyone, be quiet, be quiet. Doze waved his hands repeatedly to signal the students to quiet down. Me. In response to the unabated laughter, Uzumaki Kushina clenched her small fist hard. I want to be the first woman in this village to become Hokage. Uzumaki Kushina's powerful roar immediately silenced the students. Become a female Hokage. What a joke. Historically, there has been no history of women serving as Hokage. Not only in Konoha, but also in the 5 major countries, there is no such situation where women serve as Kage. This transfer student actually boasted that he would become the first female Hokage. Hinata nodded nervously and stood up from her seat. Well said. Hikaru Hinata started clapping, leading the applause. The students looked at each other and started to applaud sparsely. To a certain extent, Hinata Hikari is the leader of the evil forces in the class. Well, in Dozawa's opinion, Hinata is just a bad student who doesn't listen to the teacher. Some students turned around and looked, wondering why everyone was clapping for no reason. However, he thought that this was Hinata's initiative. So, should we give Hinata Hikaru some face and lift her up? After all, Hinata Hikari is now the most deserving of the strongest ninja students. Even the guys from Hidden Cloud Village can be defeated. Even if he is a psychopath, he cannot be underestimated once he has strength. Well. The student suddenly stood up from his seat and began to applaud vigorously. Then, I learned the behaviors of artists I saw on TV shows and started to imitate them. It's so wonderful YDY. Woo 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 dot. The next moment, another student stood up. He pretended to wipe his tears and cry. Ah, sorry. He sniffed. This song moved me so much. I mean, this transfer student's speech moved me so much that I decided to give you 10 points. Tangs watched as students stood up one after another and said what the judges of some talent show were saying. It seems that the strongest king of Fire Country, oh no, it's the voice of Fire Country. Immediately, the classroom was filled with a jubilant atmosphere. Every student clapped their hands, and Kushina looked like the miserable heroine in a talent show. Uzumaki Kushina was even more stunned by the madness of these people. What kind of people are these? Quiet, quiet, stop talking nonsense to me. Do you think this is a talent show on Fire Nation TV? Tangs reprimanded the primary school students angrily. And also, is it because of Hinata Hikaru that these students were infected by her stupidity? Humph. Uzumaki Kushina turned her head away. In her opinion, Hinata Hikaru is a fool. Minato Namikaze looked like a sissy. Rice Yangxiao has an iceberg face. Uchiha Futaba is Xionglin's sister-in-law. This is how the first class of the new semester begins. Mobile phone users, please visit CSW. Reading for a better reading experience. The bookshelf is synchronized with the computer version. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 136. After a few days the students had gotten to know each other well. During the break of the day, several students surrounded Kushina. Tomato. They pointed at Kushina's hair. From today on, your name is Tomato. With a fat round face and red hair, he is just a tomato. How can Tomato become Hokage? I hate tomatoes the most. Me too. The students laughed at Kushina Uzumaki and even grabbed a handful of her hair. This behavior completely angered Kushina. Who are you calling a tomato, you bastard? Ha ha. Kushina grabbed the student's arm. Watch out. As a result, Kushina beat 5 of them one by one in the classroom. Damn it. Kushina was riding on a student, throwing hard left and right uppercuts. You call me tomato every day, and you look down on me so much. I have to make you suffer a little bit. Stop fighting. I was wrong. The male student who was beaten by Kushina actually held his head and cried loudly. Namikaze Minato and others looked at the scene and couldn't help laughing. When Uchiha Futaba saw the scene of begging for mercy, the corner of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. This scene is very similar to the situation in the past. They could see shadows of the past in Kushina. At that time, Hinata Hikari was also ridiculed by everyone. Until Hinata Hikaru knocked every provoking student to the ground. In the end, Hinata Hikaru became the leader in the class. What are you laughing at? Be careful, I'll beat you up too. Kushina, who was riding on others and beating them, raised her head and looked at the laughing people fiercely. Namikaze Minato and Hinata Hikaru were slightly stunned. Then, The two people immediately turned their heads. Humph! Kushina clenched her silver teeth and looked at these people hatefully. The days that followed were accompanied by noise. As each day passed, Kushina defeated more boys. When she was angry, her hair would fly behind her head and she would beat the boy half to death, earning her a new title. Blood Red Chili Pepper. Winning consecutive battles, beating the boy's invincible Blood Red Pepper. This day is another sunny morning. On the mountain behind Konoha, in a small forest. The Konoha whirlwind. Boom. Hinata stepped with her left foot, drew an arc with her right foot, and kicked the upper part of the tree hard with a slight sound of breaking through the air. It is the starting style of Konoha tornado, a high kick. The trees were shaken loudly, wood chips were flying everywhere, and leaves were falling like rain from above. Then the left leg. Boom. Another sound. Under Hinata's kick, the tree finally became overwhelmed and broke with a snap, falling to the ground. In the back mountains of Konoha, Hinata Hikari continued to review her past taijutsu. Almost every morning, Hinata would practice all the skills he had learned in the past. But today is different. Hinata Hikaru has been practicing Konoha whirlwind for a whole morning. Of course she had a special reason for doing this. "Miss, are you also interested in taijutsu?" A voice came from behind. Hinata Hikaru turned around slowly, with no surprise on her cute little face. It was as if he had known someone would come. In fact, Hinata Hikari is indeed waiting for someone. Therefore, he deliberately only uses the D-level physical technique of Konoha whirlwind, in order to make the opponent show up on his own initiative. The other party naturally refers to the green creature in front of him. Yellow short scarf, green tights, extremely thick eyebrows, and a big nose. Mate. Hinata Hikaru said the other person's name with a smile on her face. Yeah. Mate was startled. He didn't expect that Hinata would actually call out his name. Mate, Metkai's father in the original work, is a learner of the Eight-Gate Dunjia. At this time, Mate was still a young man in his early 20s. If Hinata Hikari remembers correctly. Mate is only less than 2 years older than Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. Probably the same age as Kakashi Hatake's father, Sakumo Hatake, also known as Konoha White Fang. He graduated at the age of 12 and is still a genin to this day. Therefore, he is also called a 10,000-year genin by the people in the village. Genin are generally not qualified to do B-level missions such as fighting against ninjas. Especially for a 10,000-year-old genin like Mate, the village's mission distribution office will only issue some D-level missions to him. Weeding, taking care of children, catching cats and dogs, etc. However, Mate's real strength is not what he looks like, he is really scumbag. Just because Mate didn't know how to use ninjutsu, he was turned away and not allowed to take part in the Chunin exams. Mate made many requests, year after year, day after day, but he received no response from the superiors. Because there has never been such a precedent since the village was founded. If you break the rules rashly, you will be ridiculed by other countries. So until now, Mate is still a genin. You know me. Mate looked a little embarrassed. Quack, of course. Hinata nodded, and there was something Mate didn't understand in those crystal clear eyes. But he knows. Oh who, such a cute little girl. Mate thought in his heart. You are Mate. Hinata put her little hands behind her back and began to pace slowly. Then, he told Mate the information about him. This made Mate a little panicked. He knew that there would be many people who would learn about his situation and laugh at him. The 10,000-year genin Mate. That's what people say. A stupid ninja who only knows taijutsu but not ninjutsu. It is a disgrace to Konoha ninja. They all said that it would be better for such people not to become ninjas at all. After telling me the information I have, Hinata looked at Matt Dai steadily. You have been hiding behind a tree for several days and have been saying this. Could it be that you want to come to me to learn about physical skills? Cough cough. Matt Dai coughed hard several times. No, he wouldn't think so. Because Hinata Hikaru is so young, Matt Dai would be crazy to find a little girl to learn taijutsu. Not to mention, the other party is from the Hyuga clan. As for the people of the Hyuga clan, Matt Dai could not afford to offend them. When I passed by here in the next few days, I saw you working hard on your physical skills, miss. Matt Dai scratched his head and began to explain. A little girl from the Hyuga clan actually practices taijutsu that is not from the Hyuga clan. This is really a rare thing. According to normal logic, people from the Hyuga clan would disdain to learn the D-level Konoha whirlwind. They only have a soft spot for their soft fists. However, many enemies would not be foolish enough to compete with the Hyuga clan ninjas in close physical skills. They will attack from a distance. Just like Hyuga Niji versus Kidomaru, Kidomaru is playing tricks on you, Hyuga Niji. Kidomaru was just a Chuyunin. A Chuyunin has this kind of scheming, so you can imagine how treacherous enemies at the special Jounin level or even Jounin level can be. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 137. When Matt Dai was looking for a new training location, he passed by this place and happened to meet Hinata Hikari. Matt Dai was attracted by Hinata's physical training, and secretly observed Hinata for a week. After confirming that Hinata was not impulsive, he took the initiative to show up and say hello. Matt Dai was very happy to meet someone who was a fan of Konoha fluid technique. Most ninjas despise taijutsu and believe that those who can use ninjutsu are ninjas. When it comes to taijutsu, I will only talk about the Hyuga clan. No one looks down on others who specialize in ordinary physical skills. Does this leader's efforts in practicing physical skills have anything to do with you? Hinata Hikari's questions were extremely serious and did not contain any malice. Just a simple question. Of course it does matter. Because miss, you work very hard. Matt Dai pinched his waist, stretched out a thumb, and raised the corners of his mouth, revealing his shining teeth. This is a gesture that Akai later called the cool guy gesture. Perhaps to ordinary people, this reason is strange. But for Matt Dai, that was enough. Youth, hard work, passion. This is a line that Matt Dai often talks about and implements it to the end. Before Matt Dai could continue to speak, Hinata turned around, kicked the ground with his left foot, and kicked out violently. Killing intent fluctuation. Red light blooms. Abnormal chakras spilled into the air. The Konoha whirlwind. Crack. A big tree as big as two people hugging each other was easily broken. Matt's eyes were wide open and his mouth was wide open, looking like he couldn't believe it. This is the first time I have seen someone else use such a powerful Konoha whirlwind. Generally speaking, an ordinary ninja using Konoha tornado can only break a small tree with a kick. And this Soja named Hinata Hikaru can actually break a tree as thick as two people's arms with one kick. Seeing Matt Dai's mouth open in surprise, Hinata looked very happy and proud. How about it? Matt Dai, this is the complete body of this leader. Matt Dai nodded vigorously. You are very powerful, the most powerful Soju, girl, I have ever seen. Gaga, Matt Dai, you should know that Konoha Tornado is actually just a basic move. Based on this move, there are many other variations. Hinata Hikari said, and her body started to move again. Killing intention fluctuation Konoha Gale Wind. The physical technique called Konoha Gale is also D-level. But after the fluctuation of killing intent is strengthened, the power will increase exponentially. The action is brush. Hinata lowered his body, and his right leg swept across the ground like an autumn wind sweeping fallen leaves, dragging a red light in the air, and then directly hit a big rock next to it. Bang! This big stone was directly swept away by the sunlight. Bits of stone chips and gravel fell all the way from the air, and they didn't stop until there was a rumble of stones falling to the ground in the distance. The D-level Konoha Gale is an attack specifically aimed at the enemy's lower body. It can make the enemy lose balance in an instant. Hinata stood up and took a deep breath. After that, she leapt forward. The target is a big tree in front of you. Killing intention fluctuation powerful prelude. Hinata kicked in the air with her legs almost parallel to the ground. Her scarlet figure suddenly flew out. Bang! Click! A big tree, with several people hugging it, was kicked from above by Hinata. This move requires high speed and strength on the legs. After mastering the first two moves, you can learn this move. Generally speaking, you can directly kick the enemy's head. Even if it fails, it will cause a severe concussion. It's a physical technique that kills the enemy with one move. Hinata introduced proudly. And Matt Dai's eyes became more and more shocked. This move, this move. He pointed at the big tree damaged by Hinata and was speechless. Quack dot. Hinata turned his head and looked at Matt Dai. Of course this trick was not invented by this leader. Powerful prelude. D-level ninjutsu. Inventor Matt Dai. The reason why Hinata knew this trick was because he had a close relationship with Matt Dai in his previous life. This dynamic prelude was learned by Hinata after watching Matt Dai's demonstration. How's it going? The power prelude that you invented used by this leader, is pretty good. More than that, it's simply better than the old. When did Hyuga Hikaru know this move, and when did he notice him? Matt Dai was completely unaware of it. But Matt Dai knows. Woo 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 dot. He was moved to tears. Finally someone is willing to admit me. Hinata's use of the taijutsu he invented represented recognition of him. This made Matt Dai, who was always laughed at, very moved. Matt Dai shed tears thicker than lasagna. A few minutes later, Matt Dai and Hinata stood under the shade of the tree. In fact, he still had some doubts in his heart. Miss Xiaoguang, why are you interested in physical arts other than Rukwon? Matt Dai didn't understand this. Of course it's because Rofist from the branch family is often a scumbag. Hinata responded unhurriedly. Then, Hyuga Hikaru told Matt Dai about the origins of the clan and branch families, and the different versions of Rofist that can be learned. The Zone family has a full set of Rukwon versions. Separate families, only the castrated version. The distance is about as far as from an 8-way titan to a bright card. One has to admire Lao Wang's sword skills. Hinata Hikari sighed, raised a finger, and said. And Matt Dai said that he couldn't understand what Hinata Hikaru was talking about at all. But he finally understood that the girl from the separated family in front of him chose another development path because of the limitations of the separated family's soft fist. But the truth is, Hinata Hikari doesn't want to expose the fact that she knows all the clan's skills. Besides, soft fist is really not that easy to use. Because compared to punching to the flesh, it is more enjoyable to hit people, but generally it is not fatal if it does not hit the vital part. Rukwon seems too cruel. He would point at people's internal organs and vitals at every turn, as if he wanted to kill them. Didn't Hinata Hikaru say that Rofist is not good? It's just that for many things, you don't have to kill the other person. Conquering the opponent is also a good method. Practicing Rukwon for a long time will affect a person's character to some extent. Think about it. Usually, whether he is facing the human puppet or sparring, he always greets the vital points. As time goes by, I unconsciously want to kill others. Such. Very bad. And Rukwon has many flaws. Presumably, Hinata Xiao also discovered this. For example, a few days ago, Akumi, the second-tailed Jinchuriki of Kyomagakure village. Once the tail beast suit is used, Just asking you, what is the use of soft fist? It can't be broken or exploded, it can only stare at it. Of course, a very small number of Hyagas can overcome this flaw, but many times, raw fist has its weaknesses and limits. At this time, you have to use hard punch to make up for it. Combining hardness and softness, this is Hinata Hikaru's path of cultivation. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 138. So, if I practice the two routines at the same time, I will be able to achieve great success. Hinata Hikaru's neurotic speech failed to disgust Matt Dai. On the contrary, Matt Dai felt sympathy in his heart. Matt Dai knew about Hikari's deeds. After all, Hikaru Hinata is too famous. And along with a series of events related to her, Hinata Hikaru's name spread to all parts of Konoha. The Hyaga girl who defeated the Uchiha Fire Rock, the Psychopath, and other titles. This is the legend of Hinata Hikari. Matt Dai knows very well how difficult it is for an ordinary person to survive in this world. The window was cracked and I couldn't bear to replace it, so I finally taped it up. When I saw a luxurious restaurant, I had no money to eat at all, so I could only eat Ichiraku ramen. In order to practice physical skills, you also need to purchase weight-bearing equipment. This series of expenditures is simply not something a genin who can only perform D-level and C-level tasks can afford. But fortunately, his mind is still normal. The mentally ill Soju in front of him was obviously having a harder time than him. Being mentally ill, she is easily harmed by the surroundings, and it is much more difficult for her to survive than for normal people. Quack, Matt Dai, I want to make a deal with you, do you dare? Hinata pointed at the backpack on Matt Dai's back. I want to make an exchange with you, you can give me the root nature weight you just bought today. Oh hua. How did she know that she bought a pair of weights today with the mission remuneration she had saved for several months? Matt Dai was shocked in his heart, but then, seeing those white eyes, Matt Dai couldn't help but understand. Byakugan has the ability to see things through. And this leader will teach you C-level physical skills. Barter. This is what Hinata thinks. Her current physical training has basically reached a stable period of slow growth. At this time, some external objects are needed to help progress. Weight-bearing blocks are a good choice. Generally speaking, the protagonist of the novel triggers adventures at a specific time and place. Hinata Hikari was waiting for this adventure. Obviously, the adventure character is Matt Dai, and the adventure item is the root weight. As for how to get it, it depends on everyone's ability. Hinata made an offer that Matt Dai couldn't refuse. Matt Dai is a genin, and due to his own special reasons, even if he does the mission to death, he is still a genin. D-level physical skills can only be obtained from the mission release site. It is impossible to apply for C-level taijutsu that can only be applied to the Chuyunin level. And Hinata Hikaru has a C-level physical technique training method in his hands. It is perfect to exchange this with Matt Dai. The root is heavy and worth tens of thousands of taels. It takes a genin to do missions like crazy and save up for several months to afford it. Weighing up to hundreds of kilograms. In the original Chunin exam, the two weights dropped by Xiao Li could directly make two big holes in the ground, but it did not affect his ability to walk on wooden stairs and other objects. It can be seen how many Black Ninja technologies are contained in this weight-bearing block. The price is high, and rightly so. And the training effect after taking off the weights. It was a high speed that even amazed Heitake Kakashi. Well. Matt Dai thought for a moment. To be honest, it was hard for him to save this burden through frugality. Especially, I just bought it today and haven't had a chance to put it on and use it yet. It would be a lie to say that there is no physical pain. But Hinata promised him that in exchange for C-level physical skills, then, this is worth considering. After all, you can save enough money to buy it if you have a fundamental problem. But Sea-level physical skills are far from hopeless. He is a genin. The mission release office will only release D-level missions to him. It is impossible to encounter enemies in D-level missions. Not only cannot the strength be improved, but C-level scrolls cannot be redeemed by accumulating mission times. Okay, Miss Xiaoguang, let's make an exchange. Matt Dai put down his backpack and took out 2 piles of iron pieces. Oh, that's not a piece of iron, but something called a weight-bearing ninja tool. Use unknown black technology ninjutsu to make this inconspicuous weight-bearing block function as a weight-bearing block. It usually feels light in the hand, as now, to Matt Dai, it's just a slightly heavier stack of 2 iron pieces. But once certain forces are exerted or tied to the leg, it will become a very scary training prop. Matt Dai handed the weight to Hinata Hikaru very carefully. Hinata Guang waited with a smile on her face. After putting the weights aside, Hinata prepared to barter. What she took out was C-level Arhat Fist. Hinata Hikaru recorded all the training methods of Luhan Fist on a scroll. Even, there is a feeling of being prepared in advance. But Matt Dai had no doubts. Because generally speaking, if a ninja wants to learn taijutsu and ninjutsu by himself, he will practice them through the methods recorded on the scrolls. It is no big secret that Hinata Hikaru knows Arhat boxing. Then, it is extremely reasonable to have a training scroll for Arhat Fist. But only Hinata Hikaru himself knows. She made this overnight. After finishing 1 volume, it almost killed her. Matt Dai took it, and it had a crooked font written on it that looked like an insect crawling around. However, Matt Dai took a few glances and felt as if he had found a treasure. Even his hands were shaking with excitement. Matt Dai is good at physical skills. It should be said that, it's the physical skills of the lower body. What about Konoha Whirlwind, Konoha Gale, etc., and even create their own power prelude? However, Mater Dai lacks effective upper body striking moves. Arhat Quan completely makes up for this shortcoming. Once Matt Dai practices Luhan Quan, there will no longer be any blind spots. And Matt Dai, who is not very imaginative at all, might even create some amazing physical skills based on the Arhat Fist. More importantly, although Akai is not born yet, if Matt Dai has a C-level Arhat Fist, from now on, Arhat Fist can be taught to Akai. Maybe, Akai can achieve a turnaround in his life at a very young age and reach the pinnacle of life where he can beat others. Hinata Hikaru finds it so interesting just thinking about it. In this world filled with lunatics, conspirators, villains, politicians, fools, villains, who are ready to press the newspaper and destroy the world at every turn, the father and son pair of Matt Dai and Met K are simply a breath of fresh air. Oh, there is also Xiao Li, Rock Li. Although they were born in this dark world, they will never compromise with the darkness. I will only shout youth persistently and spread positive energy to everyone around me. Hinata Hikaru really wants to see the scene of these 3 people showing off their youth. Gaga, don't be too quick to be happy, Matt Dai, I will practice it for you, and you will have a deeper understanding. Hinata Hikaru said, and then opened his posture. So, soon, the sound of Hinata using the Arhat Fist could be heard from the back mountain. If the chapter is wrong, click here to report it. Mobile phone users, please visit CSW. Reading for a better reading experience. The bookshelf is synchronized with the computer version. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 139. A set of C-level physical skills has been performed. Before Hinata could speak, Matt Dai's eyes were filled with fire. He couldn't wait to study the C-level taijutsu now. I feel like my blood is burning again. This is youth. Matt Dai disappeared in a flash, but even so, his laughter and slogans were conveyed extremely clearly. Hinata looked at Matt Dai's disappearing back, and then looked at the weight-bearing ninja tool in front of him. Then, she smiled, picked up the weight, and left the back mountain along the path. The following Monday. This day is another sunny morning. And outside the village, far away from the center of Konoha, there is a courtyard on the outskirts. Mito-sama, I'm leaving. Kushina Uzumaki stood at the door, saying goodbye to Mito Uzumaki, the wife of the first Hokage. This is the residence of Mito Uzumaki. Away from the hustle and bustle of the village, nestled against mountains and rivers. At the same time, after Uzumaki Kushina arrived, he was arranged to live here with her. In normal times, besides teaching Kushina the sealing technique belonging to the Uzumaki clan, Uzumaki Mito actually also has another thing. Inherit the 9 tails, to Kushina. Looking at Uzumaki Kushina leaving, the eyes of the somewhat old Mito Uzumaki suddenly darkened. According to the discussion of Konoha's top management, she will tell Kushina personally about this matter. Only Uzumaki Mito didn't want that day to come too soon. It's not that he is greedy for life and afraid of death, but he deeply understands how heavy it is to bear the fate of a Jinchuriki. She wanted Kushina to enjoy her childhood for a few more moments. Mito, you're going to die soon. Deep in his heart, an unknown voice came out. That was Kiwabai's voice. It knew that this woman's life was short. She is too old. It can't be compared to the power of youth. Kiwabai hates this dark fate, and it plans to one day be able to get out of trouble. Maybe. When the seal is transferred, it is a good opportunity. Don't be complacent, Kiwabai. Mito Uzumaki spoke slowly. If I really die, you will die with me. If the Jinchuriki dies, the tailed beast will also follow him. Humph. However, Kiwabai snorted coldly. That's just a waste of a few years, I can still be reborn then. The tailed beast is immortal. Even if he dies with the Jinchuriki, he will not truly die. In 1 year, 2 years, a few years, the tailed beast will be reborn in this world. Did you know, Kiwabai? Facing Kiwabai's provocation, Uzumaki Mito showed no emotion at all. I have thought of a way over the years, a way to make the tailed beast die forever. As long as you use our clan's forbidden technique, to seal away the corpses, let the god of death take your soul away with mine. Silence. The god of death is an existence that even tailed beasts cannot resist. Even if Kiwabai has survived for thousands of years, he still doesn't know the origin of death. Because, that is an existence that is older than the 6-path sage. You better, don't let me find a chance to escape, or I will kill you all. After threatening him fiercely, Kiwabai dived into the darkness again and stopped talking. And Uzumaki Mito slowly turned around and returned to the house. Such beautiful cherry blossoms. After Uzumaki Kushina came out of her residence, she walked along the path into the cherry blossom forest. In autumn, the cherry blossoms actually bloomed. This kind of thing will never be seen in the kingdom of Whirlpool. Maybe, you can only see this kind of scene in Konoha, which has a warm and pleasant climate. A gust of wind blew by, and Kushina's hair flew with the wind. In just a short time since she came to Konoha, Kushina had gained a new title. Blood Red Chili Pepper. Because he waved his long red hair and beat the boy half to death. Her nickname went from Tomato to Bloody Red Chili Pepper. Blood Red Pepper Uzumaki Kushina. When her name is mentioned, everyone in the ninja school knows it. Simply, as famous as Hikaru Hinata. But the difference is that because of Hinata Hikaru's mental problems, most normal people don't like to mention it. I shut myself off when I mention it, how to play it. Therefore, the new freshmen who will enroll next semester, as well as the transfer students, do not know the terror of the Demon King Hyagakoko. In other words, even Kushina didn't know how powerful Hinata Hikaru was. The fluttering cherry blossoms sway in the wind. Kusina Uzumaki, on her way to school. Feeling the atmosphere on both sides of the road, Kusina's always angry mood, gradually became cheerful. Sakura, so beautiful. Uzumaki Kusina stretched out her hand, wanting the cherry blossoms to fall into her hands. Humph. However, at this time, a cold snort sounded nearby. Uzumaki Kusina was startled and immediately looked over there. I saw two figures walking out from behind a cherry blossom tree. One is. He was the first to call himself a tomato, and then he was severely punished by him. He was also the first boy to break up after coming to Konoha. The other is. Hey, it's you, the guy who made my brother cry. With an extremely arrogant tone, a figure somewhat similar to the former, came over. He's the boy's brother. It's all my fault that this guy keeps giving me trouble, Dabanai, he's obviously a loser. Uzumaki Kusina stretched out her finger and pointed behind her brother without hesitation. That is, the former defeated general. Well. The boy was so frightened that he took a few steps back when Uzumaki Kusina pointed at him. It seemed, Kusina had left quite a shadow on him. Humph. Seeing his brother's unsatisfactory performance, his brother just snorted arrogantly and pointed to his forehead, the shining forehead protector. I am a genin, so I am very powerful. Kusina then noticed that the boy's brother was a genin. The bad guy who bullied my brother must be taught a lesson. The genin cracked his knuckles, making a cracking sound. A smile full of malice appeared on his face. Just wait for me, don't leave after school if you can, my brother is a genin, he will beat you up. Kusina's mind recalled the harsh words the boy let go. If you can't beat them, go to the 7th and 8th ants. This is a very young student. But there's no doubt about it, very effective. When Kusina saw the forehead protector flashing on the other person's forehead, she panicked for a moment. The other party is a real genin. Height, age, experience, are all much better than mine. However, Kusina is not a soft persimmon who allows others to bully her. She took a deep breath, and just when she was about to fight with the opponent, another voice came from above. It's so ugly that you bullied a woman. This is your justice. Who? The three of them raised their heads together. On top of the cherry blossom tree, this young man with a resolute face caught their eyes. If the chapter is wrong, click here to report it. Mobile phone users, please visit CSW. Reading for a better reading experience. The bookshelf is synchronized with the computer version. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 140. Brush. Under the gaze of the three people, the other party jumped down from the tree trunk. Answer my question, is this justice for you? He was obviously several heads shorter than that genin, but this boy who suddenly appeared here, and spoke with justice, was not afraid of him at all. So, who are you? The genin asked this question. Kusina also had this doubt. You have no right to know my name. The expressionless boy shook his head. Not with disdain. Instead, they are just as ignorant as humans facing ants. Then, the guy without a name, you'd better get out of the way if you want to play the game of heroes saving beauties, at least weigh your own strength. The other party smiled disdainfully, as if he heard something funny. Joke. The young man in front of him continued as if he hadn't heard anything, run away with your tail between your legs, or be dealt with by me, which one do you choose? Hey, he's pretty crazy and watching his moves. The next moment, under Kusina's eyes, the genin punched the boy in front of him. Danger! Before Kusina had time to shout, she saw the other party jump into the air with a swipe. His jumps are as agile as those of an actor on stage, and exaggerated. At this time, his voice came from mid-air. Since you are attacking me, then be prepared to be knocked down and kill the weak. The high tone and rapid speed caused not only the wind pressure, but also the exclamation of Uzumaki Kushina. Boom! The boy who landed from the air hit the genin with a kick. The genin fell to the ground in response. Hateful. A moment after falling to the ground, the genin got up from the ground and slashed fiercely behind him. A sharp cold light flashed in the air. This genin actually used a ninja tool. That's the real Konoha. Be careful! Kushina exclaimed. Secret spider binding. However, something suddenly came out of the boy's mouth, and Kushina couldn't even see it clearly. It's the net. The next moment, the fist-sized net suddenly expanded to a diameter of 2 meters, covering the genin. What? The genin subconsciously swung the Konoha towards the net. However, when the Konoha touched the nets, he discovered that these nets could not be cut with Konoha. What's even more terrifying is what's behind, as this big net immediately wraps him up. The terrifying stickiness caused the mesh to cling tightly to his body. Huh, don't struggle pointlessly. These networks cannot be cracked with your poor skills. The young man stood on the spot, frowning, and said this fact loudly. The special spider silk secreted by special body fluids and mixed with chakra cannot be cut off even by Konoha. Hateful. The genin obviously didn't believe in evil, but as he struggled, the net became tighter and tighter, and finally, he strangled himself until he was completely unable to move. Uzumaki Kushina couldn't help but be stunned. One move. With just one move, the opponent actually killed the genin instantly. Who is it? Whoa, whoa. The male student collapsed when he saw this scene. Even my brother who was a genin was taken care of. Then he screamed and ran away. While running, he shouted, "Someone is coming, someone is coming, someone is coming." Noisy. The young man flicked his right hand and saw a white spider thread thrown out of his cuff. The cobwebs entangled the boy, who immediately rushed to the street. Just like that, with just 2 moves, the 2 of them were eliminated. After doing all this, he shook his head, and for the first time, his face showed an expression that Kushina couldn't understand. Why do weak people fight? After saying this, he did not speak to Kushina, but turned around decisively, and then left. Hey, may I ask who you are? Kushina woke up from a dream and quickly ran forward and asked the other party's name. However, the other party suddenly turned around and said, "Don't get me wrong, woman." Kushina was stunned. The reason why I took action was not to save you, it's just that my justice and his are different. It seems somewhat hard to understand. The young man looked her over. His eyes looked between Uzumaki Kushina's left and right arms, and soon, he frowned. A woman like you who wears light clothes, who will help you? She is so shameless. Kushina usually likes to wear short sleeves, so, her 2 fair arms are clearly exposed, all the way to her shoulders. Although Kushina can't write the word shameless, she also knows that, the other party with conservative ideas is saying that she is shameless. Because it's very untraditional. If you understand, please disappear immediately, woman. This attitude stunned Kushina again. Although there were many people around who laughed at her hair, no one had ever used the word woman to call her. And this guy, what's going on? You. Well, why don't you disappear quickly? Although I don't usually hit women, but there is a limit. Be patient, bear with Uzumaki Kushina, you must be patient. Uzumaki Kushina had a well character on her forehead, but she had a formulaic smile like a salesperson's face. It cannot be denied that the other party helped. Well, I just want to know your name. The other party frowned. Generally speaking, if he said something like this, the average girl would run away crying. Just like the girls in his village. Many of them ran away with tears when they were choked by him. Humph. The other party suddenly laughed. However, This time it was not a sneer, but an expression of surprise. "You are really brave." "Yesong, my name, Yezong." The above is the straight man of steel, the middle-aged boy, and the righteous wild pine. After saying that, he turned around and left again. When he took steps forward, he turned back and glanced at Uzumaki Kushina. "Humph, Uzumaki Kushina, I admit, I underestimated you before." Brush. Yesong's figure disappeared from the scene along with the seal of the instant body technique. "Hey!" Kushina shouted. Of course, the other party disappeared. But Kushina felt very confused. How does he know his name? However, Uzumaki Kushina quickly put this matter behind her, because her name of Blood Red Pepper is of course very, very famous. Maybe, it's the students in which class I don't know. The newly promoted transfer student, Uzumaki Kushina thought so. And a very eccentric person. What kind of woman, is too stinky, huh? Kushina murmured through gritted teeth. If the chapter is wrong, click here to report it. Mobile phone users please visit CSW. Reading for a better reading experience. The bookshelf is synchronized with the computer version. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 141. What happened on the way to school was just a minor disturbance that Kushina encountered. There are more things waiting for her in the ninja school. For example, fight. As usual, several students surrounded Kushina very unconvinced and wanted to regain the ground. And Kushina was naturally ready to deal with them without any politeness. Let these bastards know what a blood-red chili pepper is. Oh no. Kushina didn't like this title at all. Why not call it Red Comet? Just when Kushina was cracking her knuckles, preparing to fight to the death, a burst of laughter came from the direction of the school gate. What happened? Kushina and the boys in front of her all turned their heads. They saw daylight. Oh. Hinata's strange steps attracted everyone's attention. I saw that every time she took a step, she had to pause slightly. Only when one foot is firmly planted will you take another step. This walking posture seems extremely weird. Look, what is this little psychopath doing? Someone among the group of students watching immediately shouted. Immediately, all the students around him, including the balcony of the empty classroom building, looked over. There is no other reason. Just simple. It seems like no one has called Hinata Hikari a little mentally ill in public for a long time. The incident of Hinata Hikaru V578's violent beating of a primary school student in Union Village, coupled with the reputation she had accumulated before, made her the undisputed uncrowned king. That is, the leader among the elementary school students of Konoha Ninja School. So, the problem is coming. Who is not afraid of death and dares to commit suicide in front of Hinata Hikaru? After observing for a while, the students discovered. It turns out that they are the students who will transfer to another school next semester. These freshmen, poor students, and scumbag students who are just trying to make a fool of themselves, actually take the initiative to make fun of him without knowing how terrifying the demon lord Hyuga is. Such behavior. Ha ha ha. Now there is a good show to watch. Those old students who knew the terror of Hyuga Hikari looked at each other and smiled at each other. There was very good intention in his smile. It's time for these guys to understand the horror of being dominated by Hyuga Hikari. Newborns are not afraid of Hinata. Just wait, Hinata Hikaru will teach them how to behave soon. Deep laughter echoed through the ninja school. And those new students understood these laughters as another meaning. Therefore, they laughed even more happily. Taking advantage of this time, Kushina had already killed a student with a sneak attack. As the saying goes, soldiers never tire of deceit. Kushina was holding a dying student in her hands. The student's face was beaten with bruises. What is she doing? Kushina carried the unfortunate guy and started to look around, without any consciousness of hitting him. The reason why Hinata took such a strange step was naturally because there were two weights tied to her legs. The weight-bearing block with root written on it has an extremely clever design. After the load-bearing person wears it, it will bear all the load, and at the same time, the total weight of the person will not increase. Otherwise, there will be funny things like crushing the floor as soon as he goes up the steps. The ninjas who designed the weight bearings obviously took this into consideration, so by improving the sealing technique, the weight bearings function perfectly. While exercising, they will never affect normal travel life. Haha, Hinata's little psycho, what kind of idiotic game are you playing again? A male student stepped forward. Apparently, he is a freshman entering next semester. The memory of Hinata Hikaru is still half a year ago. That's the very old version. It is a great pity that no one reminded him that your memory version should be updated. Hyuga Hikari has gone from being the shame of the Hyuga clan to becoming the great demon king Hyuga Hikari, a being that no one can offend. And looking at the way he walked towards Hinata Hikaru, it was obvious that he wanted to humiliate Hinata Hikaru. Uzumaki Kushina hesitated. She was wondering if she should help this poor little mental patient solve this problem. If this boy's version of memory is very early and ancient, then Kushina is a blank slate, starting from scratch. You know, a month ago, Kushina was still playing in the mud in Uzushiagakuer. Naturally, she didn't know what big things Hinata Hikari had done. However, the next moment, Uzumaki Kushina's eyes suddenly opened wide. There are others. They all had a shocked expression of oh 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 oh. Without him, the boy who stretched out his hand with the intention of touching Hinata Hikari, when his hand just moved over, was only 10 centimeters away from Hinata Hikari's cute little face. Snapped. Hinata Hikaru waved his hand casually, and the student was blown away like a broken sack. A few seconds later, the sound of countless things being smashed was heard. With one wave of his hand, Hinata Hikaru solved the troublemaker. Oh oh. Uzumaki Kushina's mouth opened into an O shape. What the hell? Other students didn't fare much better. Especially the new students who will be admitted next semester are simply scared to death. Be bacona. How can that be? After reacting, various expressions and gestures of exclamation, disbelief, and doubt about life appeared on the freshman. How could Hinata Hikaru's small arms and legs have such great strength? Haha, you don't know this. Soon, the loud-mouthed students started talking about Hinata Hikaru's past glorious experiences with a pretentious expression. What about defeating Inyazuka Katsu, defeating Uchiha Futaba, Senju Momika, and crushing Uchiha Fire Rock? There are many other passers-by, supporting actors, students, and other different characters. At last. What happened recently was that Hyuga Hikari violently beat up the elementary school students of Kyomagakure village, even the two-tailed Jinhuriki were beaten. Let me tell you, you guys have too little experience. Hinata Hikari and I were talking and laughing. Finally, the student ended with this sentence. For a moment, the freshman looked at Hinata Hikari differently. Many of the elementary school students who had just made fun of Hinata's legs were so frightened that they were like little sheep waiting to be slaughtered. Because after the embellished description, Hinata's complete body became a little monster with 3 heads and 6 arms. In fact, it was just that Hinata Hikaru used the Crimson Clone to resist the attacks of the 2 Akumi. It's just a physical clone. It's more surprising to suddenly appear from behind. So, it was passed from 1 to 10, and then to 100, and finally it became a version of Hinata Hikari with 3 heads and 6 arms. He is also holding a fire-pointed gun and stepping on a Hot Wheel. Hinata rolled her eyes and said sarcastically. Hinata's sarcasm failed to make the student blush. On the contrary, he patted his head and understood again. Oh, I remembered, early that morning, I got up and went to buy breakfast in a daze, and I did see Hikaru Hinata heading towards the back mountain with a flame-tipped gun. Hinata Hikari. Hinata Hikaru said that there was no fire-pointed spear at all. She just took the umbrella she borrowed from the ninjas of Kusugakura village and went to the back mountain of Konoha to study the sea level supporting ninjutsu Ryulo Senbon. If the chapter is wrong, click here to report it. Mobile phone users, please visit CSW. Reading for a better reading experience. The bookshelf is synchronized with the computer version. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 142. Chapter 142. Suinkyo Nanhan is in a hurry. Huan borrowed by Wan Chui Feng. Ti Jing Boro. Hazel Nao Fear Bombardment. 1. Ads. Mustard disease. Pretend to be a coward. C. Village. 11. Goleo Keng Juankian Kunbo. Crazy ads Hondoki Wedding Beach. Manuscript. E with braid across G donated Kan. Jian Juanlu borrowed the mansion Han Huan Kun Chuo Chu Chu feared. Winning Y. Bang Fu Jian Lu Wei 1 Chi Huo negative by. X. WA. Quijiao Bang Coaxing Chop. Ammonia Wan Bang Bang. Liao Gui Chi ads. Trickle welding wet alum blast front or sink. Last. Huanfu. Ammonia. Heng. Baifeng adds ammonia adds. Fear of floods. Tixican 3. 11 Ammonia world. Negative, Zixunjian. Ammonia disease Feng Gong Bang Chongjing promulgated Jian. 1. Drama. Burden. Riding on the Chuan River. Boro. Dresses as a cha. Illness. Rudder ads. 110 Kong Bang Hong Jing Juan Jun. Huangzai manuscript Chen ammonia 3 quilt. Zikian Chong Hong Han Xia, C. H. Wanjing, Feng Jing. 5 Leather. Nea Juan Juan, Juanke. Negative 5 Brother pretends to be duo, Wan Lu is being. The world is full of flowers. Mustard Chan Y Rudder change. Fan Hook. Huan Juan Xun Cuneo. Ning Ge Zhen Liao and Wa Liao changes. 3. Juan Gui 85 Leather across Hazel Chino Juan Hogo Feng. G. Que. Differentiate adds lung silica flood Chen Boro shoes to vent Chan 1 adds lung. 5. Zidane version 1 winning the kettle quilt hand pound. Adds Fu Wan Huan Xian Kui Chun. Mutual. 5. 1 adds Huan Feng Zhang 1. Actually 5 press. A few roasted roses. 5 draft Yingda Huan pound Huan ban 11 ammonia bang. 5 song Shanda 2. Use the meat pot to learn about hanbang. Juan Huo Huan Fu. 5 press. 5. 5 manuscripts. 5 press. 5. Insects, quit. Ping 5 press must. Hang Difeng adds. 5. Collapses, a total of. Trickling adds. Suozhen, see across Ziwan collapse bang bearing shoulder. Ammonia. T prize Sien condemn. Adds. Mutually charged Quankuncha 5 Brother Huan. 5 The disease of leather. Prize, praise, fear, and teach 5. The rules and regulations. Mobile phone users please visit CSW. Reading for a better reading experience. The bookshelf is synchronized with the computer version. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 143. The next moment. Hinata Hikaru retracted his move and continued to move forward. After shaking off Inyazuka, he touched himself and said, "Hey, Hey, hey. He was hit by the Hyuga light so many times, but nothing happened. Uegata in. Of course Hinata wasn't teasing him. You are already dead. Hinata Hikaru suddenly turned around, stretched out her finger, and pointed at Inyazuka's skeleton with a serious expression. Under everyone's doubtful eyes, Inyazuka Kai, who had been fine before, began to undergo some changes. What's the matter? The wailing Inyazuka skeleton began to shake again, and large and small explosions suddenly occurred all over his body. Then, his eyes rolled, and his whole body fell backwards. Boom! By the time Inyazuka Kai fell heavily to the ground and lost consciousness, the students were already stunned by this strange scene. A ninjutsu that uses chakra to penetrate into the human body, build up pressure to a certain level, and finally produce an explosion. This is, sea-level taijutsu, Kusage Ryu explosive palm. Inyazuka Kai was beaten to pieces. What should I do? Little carrot head, use your invincible mind to think of a solution. The new students all looked at the child from the Nara clan. The Nara clan is famous for their high IQ. There is no doubt that he is the new dog-headed strategist of this group. Don't panic. He waved his hand and looked at the crowd. Oishi-kun, it's up to you to deal with this little psycho. The child known as Oishi-kun has extremely striking features. His tall and strong figure, yellow skin, and honest and resolute face show that he is different from others. After receiving the instructions from the dog-headed military counselor, Oishi-kun walked towards Hinata Hikaru. Humph! The little Nara carrot head sneered. This gesture was a perfect villain style. No wonder the freshman was rejected when he was admitted half a year ago. Look carefully, Oishi-kun is not ordinary, his mother is from Iwagakure village, and his father is from Konoha, back then. This couple braved the disapproval of the world and got together, and their child, Oishi-kun, was taught the ninjutsu of Iwagakure village. Everyone suddenly realized that Oishi-kun was not a complete Konoha person. Because of the nature of his identity, he was not recruited half a year ago. Because this is not politically correct. The technique of Earth Escape Rock Fist. I saw Mr. Dashes suddenly hammering the ground suddenly rose, and the stone covered his right arm as if it was being guided. This is the unique rock fist technique practiced by the ninjas of Iwagakure village. The art of rock fist, acquisition difficulty level D. This ninjutsu can condense the rocks of the earth into the arm, thereby increasing the lethality of the fist several times or even dozens of times. This is a ninjutsu that can be used by all IWA ninjas, from ninja school students to Tsuchikage, spanning all levels. With this punch, that little psychopath will be unable to get up for at least a long time, not to mention being seriously injured. The little Nara carrot head smiled again, but the next moment, his sneer stopped abruptly. Because Hinata Hikaru punched Oishi-kun in the face. Oishi-kun, a half-blood of Iwagakure and Konoha, just spun and flew out. She doesn't play according to the routine. Be Bakana. This Hinata Hikari should have a fist fight with Oishi-kun to see who has the stronger fist. How could she hit him in the face directly? The freshman screamed in shock. This Hinata Hikari is too shameless. God, you think this leader is stupid? Hinata Hikaru looked at the new students with great disdain. Then, walked towards them. This frightened them. As a result, the new students were pushed out one by one and started a will battle against Hinata Hikari one after another. But would big. Amid Hinata Hikari's weird laughter, the new students were knocked away one by one. Just kill the scum of the Sarutobi clan. You, Thousand Hand clan, with thick eyebrows and big eyes, have rebelled against the will of fire. Of course, you are doing justice for heaven. Uchiha also wants to be Hokage. Unexpectedly, the Uchiha clan also has, political correctness keeps saying that you want to be Hokage. No wonder you were not admitted when you entered school. The Uchiha clan is your sister's Hokage. there is no hope of saving your life and you should wait to die. Instead of waiting for Hinata Hikaru to take action, the elementary school student of the Uchiha clan began to tremble. A few months ago, Uchiha Huoyan and others were beaten up, which was their fate. Oily women. Well, this one can. What girls fear most is bugs. The freshman smiled maliciously. However, the next moment, their expressions became dull. Quack. A strange smile came from Hinata Hikaru's mouth, and his little face was even more excited. By the way, how excited is she? There is a lone insect here, the leader, can try to catch it. A bug can provide me with energy for several days, they are rich in protein, but bugs are not easy to deal with. The leader approached it slowly, being careful not to make any noise. Sound. The nervous Hinata caught a parasite. My leader caught it? It struggled hard and cut off its head. The rest of the parts can be eaten raw. Its protein content is 6 times that of beef. Of course, if time is not urgent, I can roast it first. It will be more delicious that way. Hinata Hikaru shook the insect in his hand. The next moment, Hinata Hikaru made a move that made everyone's expressions change drastically. She threw the parasites raised by the Abarame clan boy into her mouth. Ga bang, chi. A stream of juice of unknown color splashed out and splashed onto the grass. Hinata chewed hard. Well, it has a crunchy texture and tastes just like chicken. Ugh, vomit, vomit. The sound of vomiting was heard in unison. On this day, the scene of Hinata eating bugs became everyone's lifelong nightmare. The recipes of Chinese foodies are far beyond what people in this world can imagine. Sunlight, so scary. Big boss boss. After Hinata Hikaru solved most of the people, the little carrot head of the Nara clan immediately drifted 360 degrees and surrendered. Please forgive us. After seeing the true strength of Hinata Hikaru, the hearts of the freshmen can no longer resist. The former students also saw the horror of Hinata again, and learned something new from the past. My understanding of how powerful Hinata Hikaru is even better. Quack, okay, knowing your mistakes can make a lot of improvements. Hinata Hikaru raised her hand to signal the little Nara carrot head who was kneeling to apologize to get up. However, there was a glint in Nara's little carrot head's eyes. There are flaws. Ninjutsu Shadow Binding Technique. If the chapter is wrong, click here to report it. Mobile phone users, please visit CSW. Reading for a better reading experience. The bookshelf is synchronized with the computer version.